Joe in real life. I'm having one of those I don't fucking want to do this today kind of mornings. It's like 7:30. It's already so hot. I feel sticky, I feel dirty, I feel flat and beaten. The idea of doing my upper body styled knees over toes routine just feels ugh. It feels redundant, repetitive, awful. But I will do it. I can feel myself coming to that with each second. And I'm happy to be on my walk with you this morning. Some days are this way, you know? What do you do about it? I think I could feed you a line about discipline, motivation, resilience, habit, and routine. And maybe that's even true and makes some sense. But ultimately, what I truly believe is that mental resilience is something you have to pay into every day because it refreshes every day, and that you don't get to bank any of it, you know? I just said that out loud and like my heart dropped because I genuinely believe that's true. That's number one. And number two, it's the saddest thought I think I've had in months. I don't think any of it rolls over. Or if any does roll over, it's such a small amount. And yeah, okay, all right, maybe some rolls over. But it's a slither. It's a paper thin slither. And perhaps to the outside world, it's very noticeable over long periods of time. But it's not noticeable to you. You're standing on it. By the end of a single day, you can feel pretty strong. You can feel pretty resilient. You can feel pretty motivated. But by the time the next day starts, you're at what is ostensibly your bottom. And you got to rebuild it all again. It might not actually be the bottom, though. You might be standing one sheet of printing paper higher. Ugh, I hate that thought. I hate that thought. But I do think it is that way. You know? In September 15th, I'm going to start my kettlebell war again. Up until that day, I'd like to do some power work. And I don't know what that's going to look like yet. But I'm going to take the back squat for a ride today after my upper body work. And I'm going to see where I can get with a pause at the bottom. I know I'll hit my daily minimum, but I'm going to strive to hit something a little bit higher than that. And then up until the 15th, we're just going to see what I can do, you know? Maybe a new max. I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. The kettlebell war isn't something I'm asking anyone to join me in, but I'll talk about that more as it approaches. It's essentially the burpee war, but with a kettlebell. It's hot and heavy out here. Man, I'm blue. I'm blue about doing this. I don't have any other reason to be blue. I just don't want to do this today. That's the title. I don't want to do this today. Let's get to it, huh? Stay tuned. So this is the entirety of my workout today, with the exception of my farmer's carry, waiter's carry hybrid walk around my cul-de-sac. And I exclude that because it's impossible to film. But also, I don't know. It's kind of self-explanatory. It just kind of makes sense. Like, I extend one dumbbell overhead, I hold one at my hip, and I walk. I switch between speed bumps, and the whole thing takes me about 12 minutes. This is a relatively new routine for me, and it's kind of like my adaptation of upper body work for knees over toes. It's only one set of each exercise for 25 reps. Sometimes I have to break the sets up, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I fluctuate the weights, sometimes I don't. Today I kept it as simple as I could, but I was extra fatigued. The heat's kind of unbearable, and you could probably see me just dumping sweat. While this is a new workout, this is a rough approximation of what I typically do before my squats. So if you imagine, this is a little more intense than, say, my average warm-up session, but it's roughly an equal amount of work. So like typically I'll post a video of just kind of like my squat sets for the day. But before those squat sets, something in the ballpark of all of this goes on. And I'll tell you, I was feeling pretty beat and pretty unhappy. I was waving to my lady there. Pretty unhappy to be doing this garbage right now. And as I went along, which is often the case, my body felt better and better. My morale never improved, but my body did. My body was, well, it got invested in the work, you know? And I started to kind of like lose consciousness a little bit. Like, that's not the right word. But while I was physically fully present and focused, mentally I was elsewhere. I guess you could consider that something like a flow state. I don't know. These weights are not heavy enough for me to be worried about safety. So really all I need to do is just find that groove and do the movements, you know? And they're really fatiguing. It probably doesn't seem it here. This Powell side lateral or posterior deltoid raise in particular, it fries me. Just devastating. And you can see I have to break these sets up. It's really tired today. That's only 5 pounds, you know? I think it would be difficult though with just the weight of my arm. Like, it's really unpleasant. It's funny watching me, this is at 4 times speed, and watching my legs kind of frog kick around as I struggle with the weight. I don't know, man. That's a good movement, a really good movement for the upper back, and that's an area where I definitely need work. As you can see in this video, I'm slouching, and yeah, well, I don't have great muscular development back there. Part and parcel why I'm invested in this work right now. This was day 1. I have 2 more of these sessions this week, and the thought of doing them 2 more times is a real bummer to me. Like, these rotations are super fatiguing too. They don't look it, but and that's only 5 pounds again. What else to say? I don't know. I both love this kind of plan that I'm on and really resent myself for coming up with this, because I don't find this work very exciting. It's too regimented. And well, it's like eating your vegetables, right? It's purely for nutritious purposes. I don't really enjoy them. These skull crushers, this is not part of knees over toes upper body work. I just feel like I need it for some elbow strength, so I go from skull crushers to hammer curls. Same weight, just 15 pounds each hand. You know, it's not a real struggle. This is more like a pump work finisher. And you can see me getting quite quite a bit of body English on that last little bit. Now we're moving into the squats. And today, I got up and down 195. I had hopes of hitting into 200s today, but I was just too fatigued. It's too hot. I'm too wet and miserable. I've drank like 2 liters or 1.5 liters of water. That's why I keep disappearing off screen. And I still feel dehydrated. What are you gonna do, right? So at 4 times speed, you can't tell, but I'm doing quite a meaningful pause at the bottom there. And who can say how long exactly? It feels like a year when I'm in it. The 95 didn't. The 95 actually felt comfortable. That's hyperbole. Forgot to take my shoes off. I'm kind of addicted to the no shoe squat right now. Just feels really good through the floor. I feel like I get really good purchase and really good power out of the bottom position. Typically I wouldn't have the socks on either, but I was too lazy to take them off today, I guess. I don't know. I never considered it. I guess that's the actual truth. It never once occurred to me to take my socks off. I look kind of silly without a shirt on, but socks on. Feels weird to me. I don't like the looks of that. So this is it, you know? Yeah, that just looks like I went down and came up, but that was quite a long pause in the bottom. I went from 155 to 185, which was too big of a jump. I felt like I was more than warm enough to do this work, but my mobility in the low squat wasn't there, and I should have taken a couple more reps. This is only a few reps of squatting, you know? Hence, the squat every day. And I guess a question I sometimes ask is, why am I doing this? And like, if I actually think this volume is beneficial. Well, I don't really know the answer to either of those questions, but like, I'm not doing a full squat workout every day. I'm hitting a minimum, you know? And I think if you did a full squat workout every day, you'd burn out pretty fast. I mean, Ivan's kind of adapted to that volume, and I do think that's possible. But I think even Ivan doesn't do like a full traditional squat workout every single day. Yeah, and I had a little pause on that too, and it just looks like I popped right out of the bottom. Anyway, I'm gonna watch this 195 with you. This is Joe in real life. I love you guys. Be good to each other today. Try your best at least. We're all struggling. We're all in a hard fight, right? Let's see how this looks. Little sticky. I'm happy with it. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks so much.